You don't yell, you don't fight, you just go quiet. It's fast too. 1 second you're in the conversation, the next your face is blank and your voice is polite. Someone asks, "Are you okay?" And you say, "Yeah," or "It's fine." But your body's already backing away, not dramatically, just subtly. You stop making eye contact. You start scanning for an exit. You suddenly need water. You suddenly remember a task. And later, when the moment is over, you replay it like a security camera clip and think, why couldn't I just say what I felt? And here's the part you miss. You didn't go quiet because you had nothing. You went quiet because you had too much. The shallow explanation you hear is always the same. You're emotionally unavailable. You can't communicate. You're passive-aggressive. You're cold. And the classic guilt line, if you cared, you'd talk. But that's not what it feels like from the inside. From the inside, it's not I don't care. It's if I open my mouth, this will get worse. You didn't want to explode, but you also didn't want to beg. And you definitely didn't want to say something you can't take back. So you did the only thing your system could do quickly. You shut the door. Not to punish them, to protect you. This is where it flips. What people call cold is often just damage control. Here's the more accurate truth. When you go quiet, it's not a character flaw, it's a pattern, a protective pattern, a learned pattern, a nervous system pattern. Your brain is built to reduce risk under social threat, so it does the simplest thing: reduce exposure, reduce signal, reduce consequences. Because to your system, hurt is rarely just sadness. It's hurt plus uncertainty. It's hurt plus, what happens if I say the wrong thing? It's hurt plus, will this turn into a fight? It's hurt plus, will I be dismissed? And when your system can't predict what happens next, it reaches for the safest move it has. Less contact, less vulnerability, less you. One sentence that's worth keeping. Silence is not always the absence of feeling. Sometimes it's the presence of too much. Let's talk mechanism, not personality. Humans are wired to take social disconnection seriously, not poetically, biologically. In classic lab studies, when people experience social exclusion in a simple game, the brain shows activity in regions involved in distress that overlaps with parts of the physical pain network. The point isn't rejection is literally the same as a broken bone. The point is, your brain treats social threat like something that matters. A lot. So, when someone criticizes you, dismisses you, rolls their eyes, goes cold, or uses that tone, your body can interpret it as, I'm not safe here, I might lose connection, I might lose status, I might be misunderstood. If, at any point in your life, speaking up led to punishment, mockery, escalation, or being ignored, your brain stored a rule. Expression increases danger, therefore your system narrows the options. Thinking gets less flexible. Words don't come. You can feel the shut happen. Relationship research even has a name for this overwhelmed state during conflict. Flooding. Your body is so activated that talk it out calmly becomes unrealistic in that moment. So no, you're not choosing silence because you don't care. You're choosing silence because your system thinks silence prevents damage. So, how do you know you're doing this pattern, not just being quiet? First sign, you go into control mode. You stop feeling curious and start feeling strategic. You're not listening to understand. You're listening for threats, for tone, for what this could turn into. Second sign, your language gets tiny. One word answers. Okay, sure, whatever. Not because you have nothing to say, but because anything bigger feels like it will start something you can't stop. Third sign, your mind starts building the court case. You're not present anymore. You're collecting evidence. You're thinking what you should have said, what they meant, what you can't risk admitting. Now, let's zoom into real life for a second. Mini scenario. You're in a meeting room. Someone points out an issue with your work in front of others. It's not just the feedback, It's the public angle. You smile. You nod. You hear yourself say, "Got it." But inside you think, don't react. Don't show it. Don't give them a scene. Your jaw tightens. Your voice gets professional. The rest of the meeting you speak less and less. Later you type a perfectly reasonable follow-up email and you stay annoyed for hours. Another mini scenario. You're on your phone. You send something normal, a question, a plan. They reply, K. Just one letter. Your chest does that little drop and your brain goes, oh, we're doing this. And you think, if I respond now, I'll look needy. If I ask, I'll start a fight. So you wait to respond, which becomes silence. Mini scenario. Dinner table. Someone makes a joke that hits a soft spot. You do the small laugh. You do the polite smile. But your shoulders go stiff. You start clearing plates. You disappear into the practical tasks. Because staying present feels like staying exposed. You're not being mysterious. You're reducing surface area. And here's the tricky part. When your system does this, it can feel like maturity, like restraint, like self-control. But sometimes it's just fear with good manners. Every pattern survives because it pays you. The payoff of going quiet is immediate. It stops you from saying something messy. It stops you from being seen in a raw state. It stops the other person from getting more information they could use against you. And yes, it can even give you a feeling of control. If I don't speak, I can't be trapped in my own words. It's like putting your phone on airplane mode in the middle of turbulence. You didn't fix the weather, you just reduced incoming signals. Also, going quiet can protect identity. If you grew up as the reasonable one, the strong one, the low-maintenance one, then speaking up when you're hurt can feel like breaking your own brand. So silence becomes the fastest way to stay consistent with who you think you are. This is where it gets sneaky. Silence can feel safer than honesty, even when honesty would reduce the problem. Now the cost, because yes, there's a cost. First, it breaks repair. Healthy relationships aren't relationships where nobody hurts each other. They're relationships where repair actually happens. But repair needs information. What you felt, what you meant, what you need. When you go quiet, the other person fills the gap with their own story, and their story is rarely generous. Second, it drains your energy. Holding emotion down isn't neutral. It takes effort. And studies on expressive suppression link it to worse social outcomes over time, because it disrupts connection and communication even when you look fine on the outside. You know that feeling where you're not even arguing, but afterward you feel exhausted like you did something physical? That's not weakness, that's load. Third, it damages self-trust, because you teach yourself, when it matters, I disappear. And when you swallow the truth repeatedly, your system learns a brutal lesson. My feelings only get a voice when they become extreme. So they either get louder later, or they leak out sideways as sarcasm, distance, forgetting to reply. Suddenly not wanting plans, suddenly not caring. Silence is supposed to prevent conflict, but long term it often creates the thing you are trying to avoid. Distance, misunderstanding, resentment. So what actually helps without pretending you can just communicate better on command? You need a switch that respects the nervous system first and the conversation second. Step 1. Name the state, not the verdict. Not, you always. Not, this is pointless. Just, I'm getting overwhelmed. One sentence, not a speech. Because it tells your body, I'm not trapped, I'm tracking what's happening. Step 2. Buy time with a clean container, not disappearing, not punishing silence. A time-bound pause. Try lines like, I want to talk, I'm just getting flooded. Give me 20 minutes and I'll come back. I'm going quiet because I'm hurt, not because I don't care. I need a minute to find words that won't make this worse. I'm not ignoring you. My system is overloaded. Notice what these do. They keep connection while reducing threat. This is the adult move. You don't vanish. You pause with a return time. Step 3. One sentence of meaning. This is your bridge sentence, not the whole story, just the headline. When you said that in front of them, I felt exposed. When you went cold, my brain read it as rejection. I'm not mad about the topic, I'm hurt by the tone. You're not dumping feelings, you're giving coordinates. Step 4. Ask for a specific low-drama adjustment. Not be nicer, something observable. Can we do feedback privately next time? If you need space, can you say I'll text later so I don't spiral? Can you tell me directly if you're upset instead of going silent? And one more small thing that matters. Safe signals. There's research showing that supportive touch or simple social presence can reduce threat-related neural responses during stress, especially with a trusted person. Again, not magic. Just the nervous system responding to safety cues. So if it fits your relationship, add a small signal that says connection is intact. Eye contact, a calmer tone, a hand on the shoulder, a simple, I'm here. Not as a fix, as a cue. Now a quick self-test. No diagnosing, just pattern detection. Question 1. When I go quiet, what am I trying to prevent? Escalation, rejection, being misunderstood, looking weak? Question 2. What do I believe will happen if I say the honest sentence? Not what's likely, what your body predicts. Question 3. After I go quiet, do I feel safer or just stuck? Because safer is the goal. Stuck is the cost. When you go quiet, what's the usual trigger? Criticism, tone, being ignored or feeling cornered. And if you're listening thinking, I don't go quiet, I go cold. That's the same neighborhood, different outfit. And here's what you can actually change. Not your sensitivity, your sequence. Next video, we're going right next door to this pattern, because some people don't go quiet when they're hurt. They go into over-explaining. They write paragraphs. They try to make the other person get it. They chase closure right now. For now, keep it simple. Notice your shutdown moment. Name the state, and use the time-bound pause instead of disappearing. Drop your trigger in the comments, and subscribe if this series helps you understand your patterns without turning them into personality flaws.